How's it going, guys? Eagle here, and welcome to the Week 1 team builder for the PGL. So this week we're going up against LaxLime, who is the coach of the Sydney Seakings. Mouthful and a half, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and put up my team first because, you know, that's the important one. So my team overall, we have Volcarona, Mega Altaria, Milotic, Gengar, Heliolisk, Mega Aggron, Avalugg, Swallow, Lipid, Crocodile, Terrakion, and Celebi. And then for his team, he has Manaphy, Klefki, Zapdos, Arcanine, Mega Heracross, Kabutops, Uxie, Roserade, Mismagius, Flygon, Snorlax, and Rotom Frost. So you have a few initial thoughts about this team. Obviously, it's very scary offensively. Things like Manaphy, who can Tail Glow. Arcanine is a threat. Zapdos can be used offensively, which is not good. Mega Heracross has base 185 attack. That's flagging alarm bells for me right now. He has Kabutops, Roserade, Mismagius, Flygon's kind of scary, Snorlax is scary, and Rotom Frost you're obviously going to use more offensively than defensively. So that's my main thing that pops out at me when I look at this draft. It's offense. It's offense and it's scary. It's good. Another thing that pops out at me is setup. Manaphy, you don't need Tail Glows on Manaphy, but it helps. It really does help to make it like the biggest threat that it can be. That's why that thing is S rank in this league, because Powder used it in season 2 when he Tail Glowed, and it was horrible, and no one liked it. There's other setup you can get stuff on Arcanine, Belly Drum Snorlax. You know, it's kind of scary on the offensive side. Defensively, it's not so threatening. You have things like Uxie, which is base 130 in each defense. And then the next greatest thing is Mega Heracross, believe it or not, which is 115 in defense. Which is like, okay. And then everything else is 110 or below. Is that right? Oh, apart from Rotom, which is 107. No, that's right. What the hell? I'm a dummy. Yeah, everything else which is 110 and below. So he's not got that much defense. He's got not that much power. I mean, he's got a lot of ones that have, you know, around base 100 defense, which is okay. But it's not scary defense. And then the last thing that really pops out at me, and it's going to be, I think, our win-con, is that speed. He has nothing that trumps base 105 speed. Mismagius is his fastest Pokemon, and it has base 105. And then the next fastest things are Manaphy, Zapdos, and Flygon, which all have base 100. Which is great, because that means that we're outspeeding most of the things that aren't scarfed. I mean, we can be scarfed, and then we do outspeed them, obviously, but we don't really have a reason to, which is good. So, yeah, speed is on our side this time, which is great. And then it just comes down to looking at each draft and seeing what deals good damage against each thing. And that leads us to our first pick on the team this week, which is Rupture, who is our Life Orb holding Terrakion. Now, this is a very interesting set. I went ahead and I went for something that, you know, just had nice coverage, basically. So, for instance, Close Combat, that deals with, let me see, Kabutops, and Snorlax, and Rotom, if you want to go for it. And then you have Stone Edge, which deals with the Zapdos, Arcanine, Mega Heracross, and the Rotom as well. But, you know, I'd rather go for Close Combat, really. So that's got some nice coverage on that. And then everything else just does decent damage to. Close Combat does decent damage to Manaphy, if it's not bold. I'm sure it'll do decent damage to Klefki. I think it does do decent damage to Klefki, because Klefki's defense is only 91. And I know it's neutral, but still. You know, Mismagius is a bit of a problem because we can only Stone Edge that, and I'm not looking forward to missing Stone Edges, and I know that we're going to miss Stone Edges. But, you know, we'll work around that. We have other mons to work around that. You know, it's it hits a lot of things, and you know, quick attack is there for just for priority in case we need it. Actually, that's a good point. The main thing about this Tracheon that I think is the main thing anyway is Sword Stance. With a Sword Stance up, we can OHKO most of the things that are on his draft, which is fucking amazing. It just deals crazy work to everything, and it's good. If we don't have a Sword Stance up, it's not the end of the world because we can just quick attack at the end and you know, get priority kills on stuff, which is good, which is very good. And then, you know, it's a jolly nature, and the speed is a funny thing. I'll get into that in a minute. We have 252 into attack because that means that we can hit as hard as we possibly can, and then the 236 into speed is very interesting. I originally had this thing at 252 into attack, 252 into speed, and 4 into HP. And I was speaking to Kelly under the radar before I finalised this team, and he said, you don't need 252 into speed because if you're 236 into speed and you're jolly, you outspeed anything that is max speed jolly on his draft that isn't scarfed. Because the next highest speed mon on his draft is Miss Majors in 105, and we have 108. So we can comfortably outspeed that unless it's scarfed, which is great. And plus, so that's good and all. So I was like, okay, so where do I put the remaining 20 points in? And he goes, I'll put it into HP because you'll get one more life orb hit on that. And I was like, love you, Kelly. So yeah, that's our Terrakion, and I'm very happy with this set. This set is going to come in clutch, I think, because it deals a lot of work to a lot of mons on his team, and I'm just very happy with it. So yeah, that's good. Moving on, we have Bailey, our Lipard, who is, to be honest, it's a set that I've never used before, and I have sort of mixed feelings about this set. I battle Lax tomorrow, breaking the fourth wall here. I battle him tomorrow, so I've already got a Mons Gend and a bit late to change it now, but I was a bit torn on this set. Now, the purpose of this thing is to Thunderwave whatever it can. Namely, the Arcanine is a big thing, Manaphy's a big thing, Mega Heracross if we can, just to get paralysis on it. But obviously with us being a dark type, I'm not staying against that thing because it's a fighting type and a bug type, and we don't like that. I mean, it wouldn't matter, this thing's frail as hell anyway, so. But yeah. Yeah, so its purpose there is to Thunderwave. One of its things is to Thunderwave stuff. Another thing is to knock off whatever it can, because obviously, you know, knock off is a great move to have. It's to be Lipard, in my opinion, isn't the best offensive mon. Obviously, it has only base 88 attack, but if we can knock off stuff like the Uxie, maybe the Kabutops if it has a life orb on it, or the Arcanine if it's bulky Arcanine with leftovers, which I think it might be, you know, or the Manaphy if it has leftovers, that'll be really good for us, especially because with 106 speed, fucking hell, with 106 speed we outspeed everything on his team, and we're jolly max speed, so we outspeed everything barring Scarfers, which is great. Next thing that we have is Pursuit. Now, this is mainly to deal with Miss Magus. I don't think it KOs, but it does a crazy amount of damage to Miss Magus if it's swapping out. Knockoff, I think, does KO, because you don't run defensive Miss Magus. I think it does KO. So, you know, it's good to have knockoff on there, but I like Pursuit just in case it's swapping out. Plus, we can Pursuit trap stuff, and that's good. I was a little bit iffy on this, though. I was debating whether to change Pursuit for U-turn, just so we can get switch initiative on stuff. But honestly, I like the idea of trapping stuff in. I do. It's not. It doesn't do crazy damage to everything, obviously. The only things that are weak to it on his team are Uxie and Miss Magus, which is, you know, a bit unfortunate, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. And the next thing that I have is Taunt. Now, looking at his team, the main thing that I have an issue with is the Klefki. because the Klefki can T-wave us. It can set up spikes. You know, I don't want that happening because we have a rapid spinner, but if it goes down, we have an issue. So I don't want that happening. Plus, you know, I'm not a fan of paralysis. We can also taunt the Mismagius, because if the Mismagius comes in on, say, the Terrakion, I'll know that it's probably got Will-O-Wisp. And that's not good. We don't want Terrakion getting burned, because obviously it halves the attack stat. So, if we can taunt that thing, good stuff. So, you know, that's just... It's a good utility mon. It's not there for super duper offense. It's there for, you know, if it can get a few knockouts, great. It's there to, you know, get rid of items, stop setup, all that sort of stuff. It's just holding the black glasses because, you know, I have no items to give it, so black glasses, yeah. I could have given it Focus Sash, but no. So the next one that we have is Maria, our Milotic, who is just a standard set, really. Leftovers, Marvel Scale, Scald, Ice Beam, Toxic Recover, 252 into HP, 252 into Defense. It's a Bold Nature and then 400 Special Defense. It's standard. It's just there to take hits, toxic stuff, and just stay there until they die of toxic, basically. You know, I needed some walls on this team because obviously he hits hard. Lax hits hard with this draft. And he's got some hard-hitting special attackers as well, and then obviously Milotic with the 125 and special defense and the 95 HP. We have it there for a special wall mainly. It's bold, so it can take physical hits, but you know it's there primarily to be a special wall. And he has mons like Zapdos and Roserade, which are base 125 as special attack. I need this thing to take hits. Obviously, it's weak to both of them, which is not great. It's not ideal, but you know, Ice Beam. Let's hope. So yeah, that thing is just there to store stuff out. I could have put Dragon Tail on it, but I didn't because I don't really see the point in it. I don't like Dragon Tail personally. I think it's a bit of a cheap tactic. Dragon Tail Whirlwind into Stealth Rock. I don't like it at all. I think it's just cheap and horrible, and screw that. So yeah, this thing is just there to take hits. That's pretty much it. And you know, it's Symbiotic, so it does that well, so here's hoping that it does it again this time. And next we have our Celebi. Now this is a very interesting Celebi set. I was sat here for the longest time, and I was like, okay, I need Celebi on this team for two reasons. One is Stealth Rock. The quicker that we get our rocks up, the better, because obviously Rock does a lot of damage against this team. Between the Arcanine, Mega Heracross, Zapdos, Rotom, stuff like that. You know, rocks are great for our team. The next thing that I needed on this thing was Heal Bell. Because unless we knock out that Klefki and that Mismagius, pretty much as soon as they hit the field, chances are they're going to get a Will-O-Wisp or a Thunder Wave off on something. And that's not good. Especially on the Terrakion, which needs its speed and it needs its attack like intact. We can't have that. So I need Heal Bell on this thing to maximize Terrakion's potential, which is exactly what we're doing, which is great. Next thing is Giga Drain used for a stab move. And you know, it gets some HP back, so this thing can sit on the field for longer. And finally we have Hidden Power Fire. Interesting story behind this. This thing, with Natural Cure, is there to wall Klefki. That's its purpose. Because Klefki can paralyze us, Natural Cure. It can foul play us. We're timid, so it won't do a hell of a lot of damage anyway. You know, it's not a very offensive one anyway, so I won't worry about that. It can set up hazards on us, but all we have to do then is to switch into Avalugg, which I'll get to in a minute. And so this thing is there just to wall Klefki. So I wanted to put Earth Power on this, because Earth Power obviously is a ground type move, so it's super effective against Steel, and we can, you know, just do work with that. And I wanted to put Hidden Power Ground on there, no, Earth Power on there, and I was like, no, I can't do that, because if he's in there with Klefki and he can't do anything to us, he's swapping out. And looking at his team, the main things that he's swapping out to are Arcanine and Mega Heracross. And I can't afford Mega Heracross to set up on this thing, or well, to get in on this thing. Arcanine is not so much of an issue because we have Milotic and Terrakion, which can deal with that. But Mega Heracross, we don't really have all that much to deal with it. So the best thing for this is Hidden Power Fire. Now we don't KO with Hidden Power Fire, and we don't KO the Mega Heracross obviously, but we do decent damage. And if we're max speed, all the better. All the better. And max special attack as well, which is great. I put 4 in special defense just because. Why not? You know, it's that 4 doesn't matter. I'll be honest, it doesn't matter. We go up 1 maximum point. So I'm not fussed about that 4 points. You know, it could go into anywhere, but yeah, it's whatever. Good for other stuff anyway. It's also holding the leftovers. It's holding the leftovers just to sit there for longer. That's it, just to gain a little bit of health back. So you know, it's there. Coming up next, we have our Avalugg. Now this thing is named Titanic, not because of me, but because of Kelly. Kelly actually gemmed my mons. Shout out to Kelly, he's an awesome dude. And I was sat there and he goes, "Do you have a nickname for Avalugg?" And I go, "No." "Do you have any suggestions?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll name it Titanic just for you." And I go, "Sure, why not? Screw it. I don't have a nickname for it, so go on." It kind of fits anyway. It's a Titanic mon. And then yeah, it's a glacier and then Titanic. I know the joke. Anyway, this thing has Recover, Rapid Spin, Toxic, and Avalanche. It's holding leftovers with Sturdy, obviously. 252 into HP, 252 into Special Defense. It's a Careful Nature, and 4 into Attack. Obviously, with Avalugg being one of our only hazard spinners or defoggers, if you like, we kind of need this on most of our teams, for the moment anyway, because obviously we have Defog and Swallow, but I can't really see that working on this team or against Lax's draft, so we'll go for Avalugg this time. It has Rapid Spin to deal away any hazards that he sets up, namely spikes from Klefki. I should point out at this point, I'm 99% sure that he's going to bring the Klefki. If he doesn't, I'll be so happy. I'll be so very, very happy. But if he does, we have an option. We have an option for it. Yeah, it has Rapid Spin. Recover, obviously, is just to gain health back. Toxic, to stall out other stuff. And Avalanche, just because it's a stab move. And, you know, with that speed, we're not outspeeding anything anyway. So, take a hit, deal back, double damage with Avalanche. We're good. We're good. Obviously, 252 into Special Defense with max... with the Careful Nature, and then max HP, just so we can sit there and take the majority of special hits. I don't know how much Arcanine does if it's max special attack with Flamethrower or Fire Blast. I'm not entirely sure. We can live any physical hit because of that monstrous defense, but special hits I'm not too sure about. We have Sturdy just in case, and I'm not running it own tempo because confusion moves don't exist in this league. Swagger's banned, and no one runs Confuse Ray in competitive play because it's... why would you? So yeah, we just got max special defense just to take up any special hits that we can. And then leftovers. I have triple lefties on this team, and I feel a bit bad about that because I don't want to have triple lefties. Obviously, Avalugg and Milotic need leftovers to be fully functional. And then I was sat there thinking of an item for Celebi. I was thinking of giving it the Rocky Helmet for a long time, but it's not a very good defensive mon, so I decided against that. Plus, it's got no defense investment, so there's not much point. So I just said, screw it, we'll put the leftovers on there, and we did. I'm feeling a little bit bad about that, but you know, it's not going to happen every week, so you know, we'll get around it. But yeah, that's our Avalugg. I'm happy with the set. It's good. I like Avalugg a lot. I think Avalugg is a very underrated mon, especially as a physical wall. Obviously with the 46 into special defense, we're not great, but I think it'll come in okay in this match, which is good stuff. Next up we have Tomato, who is our Choice Specs holding Heliolisk. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice, Focus Blast with 252 into special attack and speed, Timber Nature, and 4 into special defense. Super duper common set. Thunderbolt is there For the Kabutops, if we can get this thing in against it, because Kabutops is, fun fact, not that fast. I think it has base 88 speed. Let me see. Kabutops base 80. Even worse. So that's good. If we can get this thing in against it, great, top notch. Hidden Power Ice, obviously for Flygon. Flygon is, if it's coming, it's more than likely switching into this thing. It's more than likely. Hidden Power Ice, Okos. I was thinking about putting Deeples on it, but Hidden Power Ice is just better. It's just better. You know, Thunderbolt for Manaphy, for Zapdos, I think it does a decent amount of damage too. I've said Kabutops, stuff like that, basically. Hidden Power Ice also deals with Roserade, which is good, because we don't have much to deal with Roserade. I was thinking of putting Psychic on Celebi, obviously for the Mega Heracross and for Roserade, but Hidden Power Fire just came in a bit better with that Klefki. Then we have Focus Blast for the Rotom, for the Snorlax. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, it's a standard set. Choice specs, obviously, so we can hit hard. It's standard, but I'm hoping that it does good. And then Volt Switch, obviously, so we can get Switch Initiative, because we don't have any of that on the team at the moment, except for this thing. Like I said, I was thinking about putting U-Turn on Lipid, but I put Pursuit on there anyway, just because, you know, for GP, why not? But yeah, so that's our team. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, really. Tell me what you guys think of this in the description below, because I think it's okay. Hopefully we can deal decent damage with this team, and, you know, maybe get a win. But Lax is a super scary player to go up against. Being an analyst for last season, I got to see this guy perform, and he won most of his matches. In fact, he was in the top 3 in my personal power rankings for pretty much all of the season. So he is a very, very scary player to go up against. And I'm quite nervous about this battle. I'm not expecting a win, but I'm going to try my gosh darn diddly hardest for it. You know, hopefully we can get it. Yeah, hopefully. You know, I think this team is good. If we don't win, it's not the end of the world. We go up against them again, sadly. But, you know, maybe we can get some rematches in on that. But yeah, that's it for the week 1 team builder. The actual match will go up tomorrow. And I'm nervous about it, but let's hope for the best. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode or this video. If you liked it, be sure to click that like button, because it tells me that I'm doing a good job and that you guys want to see more. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get up out. So thank you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Bye. I'm scared.